Okay, so far we've looked at two lifestyle magazines and two question threes. The first one, when we looked at the magazine called Pride, was the question: discuss how people and lifestyles are represented in the 4 pages of the extract. Refer to stereotypes in your answer and use examples as well to illustrate the points that you're making. And then in Friday's lesson, we looked at a copy of a piece that said, look, it had Rihanna on the front cover. And it asked the question: discuss the representations in the extract. Refer to stereotypes in your answer again. And it gives you some little prompts. It says you might like to consider gender, age, race and nationality, and celebrity. And these are all clues, because even if you were to have answered a question like this one, you'd still be thinking about things like gender, age, race and nationality, celebrity, and so on. Now, the one I've chosen is actually a third example, and here's the question. The question is: discuss how women or femininity are represented in this extract. The key point to make is you have represented, representations, and represented. This is going to happen in your exam that you take in next May and in your mock exam as well. So that's the key word, represented. And the one I'm going to consider now is discuss how women and or femininity are represented in the extract. And we're going to look at an example, and I'm going to show you my answer so you've got an idea about how to go about it in the forthcoming mock exam. So here's the example. It's called Easy Living, and this is the front cover of Easy Living. And you're asked to analyse the representation of femininity. So obviously we have a woman on the front cover, and she's blonde and white, and she's very slim. So that's what you'd notice about it. The other thing, you need to look at the words as well. This title here is called a masthead. You should need to learn that. Mast, masthead, a masthead. And these words here, they have a special term in the media industry. They're called cover lines. And this is the main cover line called Summer's Here, but we have these other different cover lines that tell you the kinds of things that this magazine is interested in. So you're having a look at that. This is page 2. And typically in the exam you're going to get a contents page, or maybe even 2 contents pages. So it's kind of important to notice that you've got these large headings here: real life, fashion, emotional intelligence, and beauty as sort of key topics that define the kind of woman or the kind of femininity that this magazine is representing. And then of course you'll have time to look at the details under these different headings, which are colour coded, aren't they? They're all kind of fairly close on the colour spectrum. You've got sort of, I don't know, a kind of reddish pink and a reddish brown and a blue and a combination of those colours for emotional intelligence. And then there are more more of the content in these quite strict, I suppose, 4-column pages here. And though that spread there is 2 columns wide, but you have health, problems, food and entertaining, and home life. And then the final page got a different kind of layout to it. What would we say? That looks like sort of, what would you think of this being? Possibly 3 columns wide with this text being 2 columns and these photographs being 1 column wide, but that's the issue under layout. What we're interested in here is the content and what it says about the women. Here, look at this perky new number referring to bikinis. So that could be tell you something about the women, or this bag here costs nearly £600. Well, again, that tells you a good deal about the women, and maybe what's number 5. It's for having parties outside. It's a vodka, so people who have the time to drink vodka and enjoy that. And what's number 2? Number 2 is this year. I'm not really sure. Do you wear that over your bikini and then you take it off when you want to swim or sunbathe? I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the magazine. So the first thing you do when you're in the exam is that you have a few minutes with and you look at all of the pages, because you're going to be writing about it in terms of what are its genre features, and so what kind of a thing is a lifestyle magazine, and you're bound to talk about the front cover model looking directly out at the readership, and you're bound to talk about the hybridity of contents, the fact that it's about emotions, that it's about food, it's about fashion, and these variety of contexts sum up the kind of lifestyle that's on offer. So now I'm going to turn to the main point of this lesson, which is what kind of femininity, what kind of woman is being represented in these 4 pages. So you'll be getting an idea of this before I start to roll out the answer that I've written. And I wrote this in half an hour, so it's about the kind of time, 25 minutes, you'll have to write your answer based upon the magazine that you're going to be seeing very soon. In fact, in your case, it will be tomorrow. So what would your notes be like? It's about representing what kind of woman is represented in these pages. And you want to be able to make, 6 points, let's say, 6 paragraphs in your answer. And the evidence is in front of you. What does this say about women? What kind of a woman is this? What kind of a woman, or what kind of women are we seeing in these photographs here? What kind of women are we seeing being represented by these headings and some of the details here? And what kind of women are being spoken to, addressed by this letter, How to Look Good on Holiday, for example. So I've spent a few minutes looking closely at these 4 pages, and also considering the women who aren't visible here, either in the photographs or in the words which are being addressed to the readership. So here's my answer to the question. It goes like this. Discuss how women or femininity are represented in this issue. So, the kind of femininity represented in the 4-page extract of Easy Living is of women who are white, attractive, approaching middle age, that's to say their generation X is wealthy. They are women who are concerned about their emotions, because this appears twice on the front cover. What your friends really think of you. and a quarter of one of the contents pages comes under the heading of emotional intelligence. This kind of woman is concerned about what her friends think about her, for example. This version of femininity is ethnically white. White, white, white. I assume she's white. She's certainly white. There are 6 headshots, 3 of which are blonde and all of whom are white. Of course, most of the world's population are not white and certainly not blonde. But these other versions of femininity, poor, Latino, black, old, disabled, Japanese and Chinese, Filipino, are not represented here in Easy Living. These are all white European women, or Australian in the case of Kylie Minogue. The women in this magazine are all wealthy. The front cover image shows a multi-millionaire celebrity, and its readers are assumed to be able to enjoy the activities depicted in the 4 photographs at the top of the first contents page. One is a sunny location. A second is a well-furnished sitting room. A third is a woman is lying on a wide hammock in a large garden. And the fourth is trying on a new dress in a photographic studio. On the editor's page is a suggestion that all you need is a gorgeous Emporio Armani number, £589, an item that only privileged women can afford. None of these women are shown in a working environment. The implication is that women shop, relax, or look after their friendships, their own bodies or homes. But the British and world economies would collapse if this is all women did. The femininity represented here is being encouraged to party, to holiday, to relax, to look fabulous and spend money. But where does that money come from? The women in this magazine are health conscious and socially conscious. Many will have young children. On page 129 here, lost but not forgotten, on page 100, it refers to the pain of miscarriage, even when women already have children. This magazine represents women as homemakers who are primarily responsible for making their domestic space attractive and stylish. There is a whole section on the importance of stylish homes here. Another interesting point is that there are no men present in this magazine. I think this is because the women represented in Easy Living already have husbands or partners, so they are no longer in the market for a man because they are older and have already settled down. The assumption about the sexuality of these women is that they are all straight. There are no lesbian women, for example, represented in these pages. Although the women are probably married or in a relationship, they're encouraged to be physically and socially confident when they are on holiday. The opening sentence on the editor's page is how to look good on holiday, a subject we tackle at some length in this issue, we're told, is surely one of life's biggest conundrums. Well, of all the big problems facing us, war, prejudice, poverty, this is me writing now, not the magazine, global warming, modern slavery, gender inequality, internet crime, how can anyone be so trivial as to imagine that looking good on holiday is one of life's biggest conundrums? This is to construct a representation of femininity which is selfish, small-minded, and inward-looking. On the front page is the cover line, skin you'll be raring to bear. This implies that the femininity represented here does not expose much of their skin routinely, but holidays provide a chance to be freer with miniskirts and bikinis. The size of the bikini on show, also the front cover celebrity here, and all the women on page 3 are all wearing sizes 6 or 8 clothing, whereas dresses and so on. Whereas the average British woman wears a dress size of 14 or 16. This is to represent a catwalk bottle-shaped femininity very different from real women on our British high streets. So there's my essay, my answer. I could have written more, there's many examples, but I think that I get to the heart of the kind of version of femininity that this magazine presents. And part of that answer is also noticing what is left out. There are no, for example, women in wheelchairs here, and yet women in wheelchairs actually exist. There are no women who are, very old, let's say. This is not addressed at empty nesters or the grey women. It's neither is it addressed to millennial women. They're too young. They're not concerned with this. They don't have enough money to be able to have this kind of lifestyle for the most part. So, that's how you answer question 3. Good luck.